The words filtered through the phone, a casual cruelty that seemed to suck the air from the room. Caleb stood frozen, listening to the voices of Liam's friends, the playful barbs that felt like shards of glass in his gut. They were discussing him, laughing about when Liam would finally get tired of the game of pretending. The bet. How much longer would he string the poor guy along? One of them joked that Liam should drain Caleb's last dime before revealing the truth, just to see the look on his face. The laughter was punctuated by a comment that all the money Caleb had earned in years wouldn't even cover the cost of Liam's watch. They promised him a new sports car as a consolation prize when the bet was over. Then the voices shifted. A cool, female voice cut through the noise, sharp and dismissive. She asked Liam if he didn't feel disgusted with himself, sleeping with another man when he was already engaged. She told him to get rid of Caleb, to have some self-respect and move on. The line went dead, but her words echoed in the sudden silence of the apartment. Caleb's gaze drifted to the official-looking envelope on the small kitchen table. Terminal. Late stage. The doctor had spoken in gentle, roundabout terms, asking about siblings, about a bucket list. The unspoken message was clear. There was no hope, just a timeline of 1, maybe 2 years, filled with treatments that would cost a fortune. For someone without wealth, a serious illness was a death sentence. He'd spent hours in the waiting room, sitting on a cold metal bench, and later, scrolling through medical forums online. A digital form of self-flagellation, searching for a sliver of hope where there was none. After so long clawing his way out of misery, he had finally found a life that felt like his own, a happiness so bright it was almost dizzying. He had dreaded the thought of telling Liam, of seeing the pain it would cause him. Loving someone had made him fear death. Now it seemed that fear was unnecessary. A moment later, he rose, his face a mask of calm. He switched on every light in the small apartment, flooding the space with a harsh glare. The little trinkets and framed photos that once seemed so sweet now mocked him, their cheerful surfaces twisted into jeers at his stupidity. He took the cheap lighter that came with his birthday cake and lit a single candle. "Happy 29th birthday to me." He held the medical report over the tiny flame, humming the birthday song to himself as the paper blackened and curled. The heat licked away the clinical, damning words. In the rising ashes, he saw their shared history turn to dust. There was no massive debt he'd caused. There was no struggle that had forged their bond. It was all a lie. A great weight seemed to lift from his shoulders. "Happy birthday," he whispered to the empty room. Nothing left to hold on to. He hadn't expected Liam to come home. It was past 3 in the morning when he heard the key in the lock, followed by the familiar, slightly unsteady footsteps of someone who'd had too much to drink. Caleb, who hadn't been sleeping, got up and opened his bedroom door. Moonlight spilled across the hardwood floor, illuminating Liam's tall frame. The deep-set eyes were glassy, the edges reddened from alcohol, which only served to highlight their intensity. Even in a simple hoodie, he carried himself with an air of effortless expense. Liam saw him and murmured his name, reaching out to pull him into a kiss. The scent of expensive whiskey was overpowering, the kiss itself aggressive and possessive, just like the man. Caleb turned his head, and Liam's lips brushed against his cheek. Liam, misinterpreting the rejection, chuckled, his voice thick. He explained that a work event had run late, and he hadn't wanted to wake Caleb by texting back. He asked if Caleb had been waiting up for him, promising to make up for it now. Caleb wondered how a person could so easily compartmentalize their heart, feigning such deep affection for someone they held in contempt. He asked quietly if Liam found it fun, toying with someone's feelings. He asked if Liam loved him, Liam paused for only a fraction of a second before answering with a resounding yes, that he loved Caleb more than anyone. His eyes scanned the room, a flicker of understanding dawning on his face. He assumed Caleb was upset about the missed birthday and promised to make the next one special, claiming he was working so hard for their future. He then wrinkled his nose, asking what that strange burning smell was. Caleb offered a dry, mocking smile, a look he hadn't worn in years. He said it was basically his own ashes. Liam stared, captivated by the unfamiliar expression, then reached for Caleb's waist again. Caleb didn't hesitate. A single, sharp punch sent Liam crumpling to the floor. He lit a cigarette, the smoke acrid in the still air. After packing a small bag, he was about to leave but changed his mind. He turned on the television. By some cruel coincidence, a local news channel was running a segment on the city's elite. The anchor's voice was crisp and clear, announcing the impending engagement ceremony for the heir of the Sterling family, to be held at the Pinnacle Grand Hotel. Congratulations were offered to the happy couple, Liam Sterling and Isabella Vance, for finally uniting after overcoming so many obstacles. Perfect match from two powerful families. Caleb used the news report as a soundtrack. He methodically began to destroy every object that represented their time together. The ceramic bowl they'd made in a pottery class shattered against the wall. The matching glass tumblers followed. A photo of them from 3 years ago, taken at the Starlight Lounge where Liam had supposedly spent a fortune to impress him, was next. Each crash, each thud, was a satisfying severing of a tie. He'd thought Liam's frequent work trips were a sacrifice for their future, a necessary hardship to overcome the debts Liam claimed to have. He'd even emptied his own savings, a paltry $10,000, to help. It was all a carefully constructed lie, a tool for his amusement. It was disgusting. Using the still-burning birthday candle, he set fire to a small pile of their photos in the kitchen sink, running the water to douse the embers before they could become a hazard. After another cigarette, he took a can of black spray paint and scrawled a crude message across the living room wall. "Fuck you, Liam. We're done." He felt a profound sense of release. He stomped on Liam's phone for good measure, then used a set of zip ties to bind the unconscious man's hands and feet before finally walking out the door. At 4 in the morning, the sterile gleam of a 24/7 diner was its own kind of sanctuary. The owner looked up, surprised to see a customer so early. Caleb confirmed he wanted whatever was ready. The man offered coffee, pancakes, and bacon. Caleb ordered a $10 stack and a side of bacon, a small act of rebellion. He planned to eat half and leave the rest, a petty indulgence for a newly broken heart. Just as his food arrived, the diner door swung open and another customer entered. The man's voice, clear and cool as he asked about breakfast, made Caleb's exhausted mind snap to attention. He glanced over. The newcomer was clearly just back from a morning run, dressed in a simple tank top that did little to hide a well-defined physique. His skin seemed to glow under the fluorescent lights. As he breathed, the muscles in his chest and arms shifted, a testament to disciplined training. Sensing Caleb's stare, the man turned, his expression a mixture of mild annoyance and impatience. He had sharp features, a youthful intensity that was immediately striking. Then his eyes widened in recognition. "Caleb?" he asked, his tone shifting from guarded to surprised. He quickly walked over and slid into the booth opposite Caleb, then seemed to second-guess himself, glancing around as if he'd intruded. He apologized, asking if he'd taken someone else's seat. Caleb assured him he was alone. He was surprised the young man knew his name and seemed to know his situation. The young man introduced himself as Noah, a junior at Northwood University, Caleb's alma mater. He explained that Caleb wouldn't know him, but he was a fan of Caleb's student work from a few years back. The name felt vaguely familiar, but Caleb had graduated 3 years ago. Noah looked at him with such earnest, star-like eyes that Caleb swallowed his questions. To maintain some semblance of composure in front of his admirer, he finished all the pancakes, feeling slightly sick. Noah watched him eat with rapt attention, even complimenting him on finishing the entire plate. It was strange. Caleb made an excuse about a friend's message and stood to leave, paying for Noah's coffee as well. As he turned to go, Noah called out his name, asking if he could get his contact information, insisting he was a huge admirer. The young man stepped closer, placing Caleb's hand on his own chest in a gesture of sincere pleading. The warmth and the rapid, steady beat of his heart under Caleb's palm were startlingly intimate. This kid was incredibly forward. Caleb didn't know what to say. He couldn't just announce that he was gay. The guy seemed so intensely straight. He mumbled his assent and quickly left. As Caleb disappeared down the street, Noah's earnest expression dissolved into a look of cool intensity. He stared down at his own hand, which was trembling slightly from excitement. A faint blush colored his cheeks as he fought to control his breathing, his eyes filled with a deep, obsessive fixation. When the owner came to clear the table, Noah stopped him, insisting on buying the plate and silverware Caleb had used. His friend, Ryan, met him at the door, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. Caleb dropped his bag on the sofa and handed Ryan the takeout container with the leftover bacon. He explained it simply, a flat statement that left no room for negotiation. They were done. Ryan's shriek was loud enough to wake the neighbors. He had seen how close they were and couldn't comprehend the sudden split. He also knew Caleb well enough to understand that when he said something was over, there was no going back. Caleb quickly clapped a hand over his friend's mouth to prevent a noise complaint. Just then, his phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. "You're cordially invited to our engagement party tonight at 7. Come see what a normal couple looks like. Don't be late." Normal. The word hung in the air. Caleb remembered the looks from his high school classmates, the subtle shunning, the open mockery. He had thought he'd left that all behind. But now, with so little left to lose, he felt fearless. He typed a reply, of course. "Please send the official invitation." He was curious to see the look on Liam's face when he walked in. After sending the message, he looked up to see Ryan staring at him, his eyes wide with concern, asking what Caleb planned to do now. He was sick, he said. The kind you don't get better from. He showed Ryan the diagnosis on his phone. He was going to take a trip in a few days. Ryan's voice was hoarse as he insisted Caleb was lying. Caleb looked him in the eye and said he never lied, shattering his friend's denial. In an instant, Ryan collapsed against him, sobbing, his tears and snot soaking Caleb's shirt. Caleb, the one with the death sentence, found himself comforting the healthy one, telling him not to be sad. He tried to frame it as a blessing, a chance to enjoy the world while he was still young and strong, spared from decades of decline. Once Ryan was calm, he wiped his eyes and asked if Caleb was planning to travel alone. Caleb, scrolling through his phone, replied non-committally that he would, after he'd settled a few things. He didn't plan on coming back. Ryan suddenly slapped his own thigh, an idea forming. He told Caleb to stay put for a few days, promising to find him a travel companion. Caleb tried to protest, reminding Ryan of his sexuality and not wanting to make anyone uncomfortable, but Ryan assured him he would be upfront about everything. Exhausted from the sleepless night, Caleb agreed and headed for the spare room he always used when he stayed over. Ryan stopped him, explaining apologetically that his cousin was staying for the summer and had taken that room. Caleb's things had been moved to the other guest room. Caleb shrugged, indifferent. It had been a long time since he'd needed to crash at Ryan's. Ryan then asked if he was free that afternoon. Caleb replied that his schedule was now wide open. He tossed Ryan his bank card and told him to pick out a well-fitted suit and find a professional stylist. He had an event to crash that evening. His sleep was fitful, haunted by images of Liam. He remembered meeting him at the small snack shop he ran near the university campus. Liam, a handsome student from the neighboring college, was working part-time as a waiter. Caleb struck up a conversation, and Liam had smiled sheepishly, explaining his difficult family situation and his father's illness. That shared sense of struggle had been the hook that drew Caleb in. They became close, their conversations growing from casual greetings to daily, intimate talks. Caleb, always direct, had told Liam about his sexuality, making it clear they could no longer be friends if it was an issue. Liam had shaken his head vehemently, insisting it didn't matter. Then, Liam disappeared for 3 days. He later revealed he'd gotten into a fight with people who were spreading rumors about Caleb, and had been locked up because he couldn't afford to pay the fine. On a rain-swept night, he'd cried in Caleb's arms, telling him his father had died. He'd confessed his love for Caleb but said they had to break up. He couldn't burden Caleb with the $50,000 debt he'd incurred defending him. Caleb had simply held him tighter, and from that moment, they were together. After graduation, Liam would transfer every paycheck to Caleb's account, his eyes shining with pride, claiming he didn't need the money since his job provided meals. He loved him. The dream shifted. Liam's face, now older and colder, twisted into a sneer as he played with some expensive trinket. He asked his friends if they were tired of the game yet. In the eyes of the wealthy, Caleb was just a diversion. Liam's features warped, finally settling on a look of pure contempt as he and a blurry female figure pushed Caleb into a dark abyss. He never even got to ask why. He had spent a lifetime asking why. Why his parents gambled away their lives. Why bullies in school had used his private journal to turn the entire class against him. He never received an answer. He had learned that most of life's questions remain unanswered, and you couldn't stop moving forward just because you didn't understand. He adjusted the suit, looking at his reflection in the mirror. He was in good shape, tall and well-built from years of squeezing in workouts despite a hectic life. Ryan gave him a thumbs up, his voice still rough from crying. The doorbell rang. A familiar face appeared. It was Noah, backpack slung over one shoulder, wearing a white hoodie and jeans. He seemed to be in a low mood. Ryan greeted him, and Noah mumbled a reply, his eyes downcast. "We have a guest," Ryan announced. "This is Caleb." Noah's head snapped up, his eyes widening in shock as if he were seeing a ghost. Caleb was equally surprised. He hadn't realized Noah was the cousin Ryan had mentioned. He was confused. Noah had claimed to be renting a place in his neighborhood that morning. Ryan, oblivious, asked if they knew each other. Caleb explained their chance meeting at the diner. Noah managed a shy smile, subtly hiding his backpack behind him. Ryan then asked Noah if he wanted to go on a trip soon. Noah, still looking dazed, shook his head, saying he had no interest and no time. Ryan sighed, saying it was a shame. He'd hoped Noah could travel with Caleb and look after him. At the words "look after Caleb," Noah froze, repeating them under his breath, his eyes fixed on Caleb. Caleb, who had been adjusting his cufflinks, turned and offered Noah a small smile, remarking that he might indeed need someone to look after him. A deep blush instantly spread across Noah's face. Before Ryan could add another word, Noah interrupted loudly, his voice firm. "I'll go. I'm interested and I have time. I'm strong, I have great stamina, and I'm the best at taking care of people." Ryan stared at his cousin, utterly baffled. Caleb checked his watch. It was time to go. The engagement party was a lavish affair. Caleb was seated at a table near the front, waiting patiently. When the couple of the hour walked onto the stage, he watched them with a faint, ironic smile. There was a faint bruise on Liam's jaw, and his expression was dark and distracted. Beside him, his fiancée, Isabella, though beautiful, looked equally grim. The ceremony began with a long, tedious speech. When the lights came up, their eyes scanned the crowd and landed on Caleb. He gave them a cheerful little wave and mouthed the word, "Hi." Liam's eyes widened in horror. He instinctively started to move toward Caleb, but Isabella grabbed his arm, her grip like steel. The realization of where he was, not their apartment but his own engagement party, seemed to hit him all at once. His face went pale. After 3 seconds of stunned silence, he saw Caleb stand up as if to leave. That broke the spell. He shook off Isabella's hand and stumbled toward the aisle, shouting Caleb's name. He begged him to listen, claiming it was just a family arrangement. Caleb let out a low whistle. On cue, the massive screens behind the stage, which had been displaying a romantic slideshow of Liam and Isabella, went black. A moment later, they flickered to life with a new montage. Candid photos and short video clips of Caleb and Liam over the years. A recording of Liam's voice filled the hall, a drunken, heartfelt promise to love Caleb forever. The scandal erupted. For the upper crust, a gay affair was a private matter, but a public spectacle like this could decimate stock prices and ruin reputations. Chaos ensued as security guards rushed forward. Caleb held up his phone. He announced calmly that he had more videos, far more explicit ones, and if he wasn't allowed to walk out freely, they would be broadcast on every public screen in the city in 3 hours. He didn't care about his reputation, but he doubted the Sterling family felt the same. The guards hesitated. Liam, his face a mask of desperation, screamed at them to get out of the way. Amid the pandemonium, the guests were ushered out. Caleb stood calmly in the wreckage of the ballroom, surrounded by the key members of the Sterling and Vance families. Isabella hissed that he couldn't just ruin their lives and walk away. Caleb took a slow drag from a cigarette he'd just lit. Liam's father, a stern, imposing man, finally spoke. He asked what Caleb wanted. Money, Caleb said. An apology was pointless. The elder Mr. Sterling glanced at Liam, who was now kneeling on the floor some distance away, flanked by 2 guards. He told Caleb that the family would take responsibility for his son's mistakes. In addition to the $50,000 Liam had deceitfully taken, they would offer an additional $950,000 as compensation for their failure to raise him properly. The only condition was that Caleb must disappear from Liam's life forever. The Sterling heir needed to be set back on the right path. A bank card was placed on the table in front of him. In the face of $1 million, love and betrayal seemed like childish games. Liam's head shot up, his reddened eyes pleading with Caleb. "Good," Caleb said with a light laugh and picked up the card. Liam's face crumpled. He tried to stand, but the guards forced him back down. He begged Caleb not to take it, promising he would have more money than that someday, pleading with him not to leave him. He let out a grunt of pain as his father glared at him, hissing that he wished he'd never had such a disgraceful son. Liam ignored him, his gaze fixed on Caleb. He threatened that he would never forgive him if he took the money. Caleb looked at him, his voice cold. He asked why Liam had chosen him as the target of his cruel game. Liam looked confused. assuming this was only about the engagement. Caleb played a recording from his phone, the conversation he'd overheard. Liam's face went white. He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. Caleb stood up, deleting the videos from his phone in front of Mr. Sterling. "I'm leaving," he said. "As long as he stays away from me, you'll never see me again." As he walked past Liam, he felt a tug on his pant leg. Liam was holding on, his voice a choked whisper. "Don't go." His father, enraged, struck him across the back with a heavy cane. The blow was brutal, but Liam didn't let go, his face pale with pain as he repeated his plea, begging Caleb. Caleb crouched down to look him in the eye. Liam's expression was utterly broken, reminding Caleb of that rainy night so long ago. Then he had felt a surge of protectiveness. Now he felt only revulsion. "Be thankful I'm a poor man," Caleb said softly. "This money is important." He produced a small blade from his collar and, under Liam's horrified gaze, sliced through the fabric of his pants, freeing himself. "Because otherwise, I'd make sure you died a very ugly death. And I always keep my promises." He stood and walked away without a backward glance. He twirled the bank card in his fingers as he walked. $1 million. It was all so easy for them. He started to laugh, a hollow, empty sound. No more sleepless nights worrying about debt. No more begging for loans. No more sleeping under bridges, fending off rats. Years of his life traded for cold, hard cash at a time when he no longer needed it. As he laughed, a sharp pain seized his chest, and his eyes began to burn. He pounded a fist against his sternum, trying to replace the insidious ache with a physical one. Why did it still hurt so much? Was it the disease? He heard his name being called. In the distance, he saw two figures running toward him, Noah and a worried-looking Ryan. Noah reached him first, pulling him into a hug and patting his back gently. "It's okay," he murmured. "Let it out. It's okay." But Caleb couldn't cry. He rested his chin on Noah's shoulder and stared at the moon. "The tears ran dry a long time ago," he said softly. Ryan just squeezed his cheek and forced a bright smile. "Come on. Let's go home." They walked, not bothering with a taxi. Ryan and Caleb filled the long silence with meaningless chatter, while Noah walked quietly beside them, a small smile on his face. They reminisced about their decade of friendship, through high school, college, and the years after. Noah then mentioned quietly that he had also known Caleb for a very long time. Ryan was skeptical, but Noah reminded him of a time in middle school when he had come to visit Ryan at his old apartment. Caleb suddenly remembered. He and Ryan had been roommates back in their sophomore year of college. He'd been woken from a nap by a knock on the door and had opened it, thinking it was a delivery. Instead, a young boy in a middle school uniform stood there, his face delicate, his dark eyes sharp and clear. The boy had stared at him, his pupils dilating in shock, before quickly covering his face, the tips of his ears turning bright red. He'd stammered, asking if this was Ryan's apartment. Caleb, realizing he was shirtless, had quickly pulled on a t-shirt and gone to wake Ryan up, then returned to his room to sleep. Ryan laughed, admitting he'd forgotten all about it. He couldn't believe they hadn't recognized each other. "I'm not a kid anymore," Noah muttered defensively. The days passed quietly. One morning, while washing his face, Caleb saw that his hands were covered in blood from a sudden nosebleed. The Reaper was getting closer. He looked at his pale reflection in the mirror, cleaned himself up, and went back to his room. He took out the only photo he kept in his wallet, a faded picture of himself as a child with his parents. What kind of person was he supposed to become to justify a life of such relentless hardship? He no longer had the time to search for an answer. But there was one last thing he had to do. Late that night, he knocked on Ryan's door and handed him the bank card. He explained it was the settlement from the Sterlings, $1 million, and that he wanted Ryan to have it. He had no use for it anymore. Ryan could buy a house, get married, have a stable life. Ryan started to protest, but Caleb cut him off. He reminded Ryan of his physical condition and of his family. If Ryan didn't take the money, his gambling-addicted parents would eventually get their hands on it. Ryan fell silent and accepted the card. Caleb told him he was going home for a few days before his trip. To his parents. Ryan looked horrified, but Caleb insisted. They had given him life after all. He was leaving immediately. His bag was already packed. A quiet voice interrupted them. It was Noah, holding a glass of water, his eyes sleepy but sharp. He asked if Caleb would be coming back. In the short time they'd lived together, he had clearly sensed that something was deeply wrong. Caleb couldn't lie to those clear, knowing eyes. He looked away. Maybe. Noah offered to walk him to the station. As they walked through the pre-dawn quiet, Noah filled the silence. He explained that he hadn't seen Caleb again after that first meeting because his high school had been a strict boarding school. He'd gotten Caleb's number from Ryan but never had the courage to call. He'd even come to Northwood University on a school trip just hoping to see him, but the campus was too big. Caleb realized with a jolt that this was the exact time he had met Liam. A series of small missteps had set their lives on completely different paths. Noah confessed he hadn't tried to connect in college because he heard Caleb had a boyfriend. Caleb felt a pang of awkwardness, but before he could change the subject, Noah added that he'd intentionally rented an apartment in Caleb's neighborhood. He stopped, his knuckles white as he gripped his backpack strap. "I like you, Caleb," he said, his voice low but firm. "Take me with you." The confession was like a bolt of lightning. Caleb stood stunned outside the train station, trying to process it. He attempted to reason with him, saying they barely knew each other, that it was probably just admiration, not love. Noah's expression hardened. "Do you think my feelings are that cheap?" he asked. He pulled a rolled-up poster from his bag and unfurled it. It was a collage of photos, dozens of candid shots of Caleb taken over the years. Before Caleb could react, a furious shout cut through the air. "I knew it! I knew you had some creep on the side." Liam appeared out of nowhere, lunging at Noah and landing a punch. He was disheveled, his clothes wrinkled, a desperate, wild look in his eyes. He grabbed for Caleb's hand, pleading for them to go home, claiming he'd called off the wedding. He showed Caleb bruises on his arms, saying his father had locked him up, that he'd fought his way out just to find him. Caleb ignored him and helped Noah up. Liam flew into another jealous rage, but Caleb blocked his path. "Have you had enough?" he demanded. Liam's frantic energy seemed to drain away, replaced by a wounded look. Tears welled in his eyes as he saw Caleb shielding Noah. He whispered that he'd been so worried, that he was sorry, that he would change. He clutched at Caleb's sleeve, his voice breaking. "I missed you." Caleb pulled his arm away. "If you had really changed, you wouldn't have attacked my friend." He told him that he no longer belonged to Liam from the moment the lies began. Liam's face went white, tears streaming down his cheeks. He clutched his chest, saying his heart was breaking, promising to spend his entire life making it up to him. "A lifetime?" Caleb answered, his voice dripping with malice. "There is no lifetime. It's your fault, Liam. All those years working myself to the bone to support your lies, it gave me a terminal illness. I only have a few years left. If it wasn't for you, I would have had a long, healthy life. I hate you. And you want me to be with you? Do I owe you that? The news hit Liam like a physical blow. He stammered that it wasn't true, that Caleb was lying. Caleb smiled, a cruel, cold expression. Your family is so powerful. They found me easily enough. Why don't you check my medical records? He leaned in, his voice a seductive whisper. But if you want to die with me, maybe I could find it in my heart to forgive you. Liam fumbled frantically for his phone, babbling about calling his father, about finding a cure. Caleb glanced at the station clock. His train was boarding. He told Liam to take his time and walked away. Noah, who had been silent throughout the exchange, quietly packed away his photos and followed him. He arrived at the house as the sun was rising. It stood alone in the desolate, hilly landscape, the house in the city long since sold to cover gambling debts. This was the landscape of his painful childhood, of his father, drunk and enraged after a loss, chasing him with an axe, of his mother, her sharp nails digging into his skin, her laughter echoing as he cried. They had once been a happy family, but gambling had twisted them into monsters. He had run away to find his own happiness. Now, it seemed only fair that he take back the life they had given him. He slipped inside. The sound of their heavy snores filled the small house. When they woke, they were tied to the support beams in the main room. His mother's puffy face registered shock, then fury. They screamed at him, cursed him, called him an ungrateful brat. He sat in a chair opposite them, a small, serene smile on his face. He told them he was dying and was taking them with him. He lit a cigarette, the smell of nicotine a strange comfort. As the scent of gasoline filled the air, his father's rage turned to panicked pleading, begging for his life, even offering up his wife to be killed in his place. His mother shrieked insults. Caleb watched the grotesque display dispassionately. He tossed the cigarette onto the soaked floorboards, and the room bloomed with orange light. As their screams intensified, he threw the old family photo into the flames. "Smile, Mom and Dad," he whispered, "just like in the picture. They say you can see your life flash before your eyes in a fire." This time, he walked into the flames himself. He thought he heard someone call his name. "Caleb." It was a desperate, choked cry, but he was so tired. He closed his eyes and chose not to open them again. Noah felt that every step he took was a moment too late, a fraction of a second out of sync with Caleb's life. After that first chance encounter, he never saw him at Ryan's apartment again. Caleb was always busy. In his junior year of high school, Noah finally got Caleb's number. He would stand at the communal payphone, carefully dialing each digit, only to lose his nerve at the very last one and hang up. What would he even say? Near the end of his senior year, his school organized a trip to a top university. Noah declined, instead taking money from his mother and riding the train to Northwood University by himself. She had bought him a cheap smartphone. He stood at the campus gates, took a deep breath, and dialed the number he knew by heart. It rang 3 times before someone picked up. "Hello?" It was the voice from his dreams. A wave of emotion, a strange mix of relief and sorrow, washed over him. He wanted to ask where he was, but another voice cut in, apologetic. Then Caleb's voice, kind and reassuring. "It's fine, don't worry about it." And then a new voice. "I'm Liam Sterling. I'll pay for the damage." The line went dead. Noah stood frozen amidst the bustling crowd of students. When he finally got to Northwood himself, he learned all about Caleb from Ryan's rambling stories. The fragmented tales slowly pieced together a portrait of the man he was obsessed with, giving flesh and blood to a shadow. His feelings twisted and grew in the darkness, a monstrous, all-consuming thing. He followed him. He watched him. He cursed the man who stood by his side. He knew, with an unsettling certainty, that if he couldn't hold Caleb's hand in this life, he would never find peace. The first and only time he truly held it was in the heart of that raging fire. Are you insane? Caleb's eyes were wide with disbelief. What are you doing in here? Let's go on that trip, Noah said, his voice raspy from the smoke. He gripped Caleb's hand tighter, repeating himself over and over. I made a whole plan. There are so many places to see. I'll take you to doctors. They're making new discoveries every day. There could be a cure tomorrow, Caleb. I'll take you. Caleb looked at him with a complex, unreadable expression, and then a slow smile spread across his face. Okay, he said. Amidst the roaring flames, he leaned in and pressed a gentle, warm kiss to Noah's forehead. For that one perfect moment, Noah felt invincible. He wasn't even afraid of death. But then a sharp, sudden pain bloomed at the base of his neck, and the world tilted into darkness. As he lost consciousness, he tried to hold on to the hand that was slipping from his grasp. He heard Caleb's final words, a whisper that sounded like a farewell. Tomorrow will be a new day. In the inferno, they were separated by worlds. It was their last missed connection.